Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. Good morning, my name's Matt, and there's always an epic delay when we go live. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick that on one side, and let's go and move across to the full screen. So those of you which are joining me live, please do let me know if the audio quality is good. I will be keeping a track of what's going on here on the iPad so I can join in, and you can join in with today's live chat. Now, one thing to note, this is being recorded live, so we leave all screw-ups in. And as you might tell by the collection of models which are on the desk, I have NFI. I'll let you work out what that says. What that means in a minute. What's in that box? I've got another one here and another one there, the CK wing as well. Also, oh Chris, don't forget what's going on with the mini goose as well. So let's start off with the elephant in the room here this morning. You would have noticed maybe a lack of videos of lately. I'm not apologising. Well, normally I would say that I've been busy with work, but I've kind of found a new, another hobby, and it's been taking up a bit of my time. I would love to say it was a midwife, but the wife banned that one, so that one didn't go very far. So yeah, I've been doing other stuff lately, which hasn't been work related. That said, I'm still very much enthusiastic about RC models, and I've got a whole raft of stuff to get through and getting edited. Now, again, I just want to be 100% clear with you. Remember when I said I started this channel is that I'd never lie was one of the key factors. The editing is really starting to get to me. I'm sure the content producers out there, like Chris, you will know this one, not from iForce 2D, and I'm sure if Sir Bruce, etc., turn up later, they will know this one very well. Is that do keep an eye. And by the way, that's why we're doing it live here this morning. We will get to the foam in a minute because I really do have no idea what's in that box, and we'll open that one up in a minute. But just bringing myself back onto the topic is that for a 30-minute video, for example, we're looking at an unboxing, etc., etc. The editing is quite light, but you've also got to factor in that's another 30 minutes at least in editing, and then another 30 minutes for it to be rendered, and then maybe an hour for it to be uploaded as well. It's a huge, great big time sap for what's going on. And I have watched Sir Bruce's video on revenue a short while ago, and yeah, absolutely, in short, I agree with him. That I know what is needed for a very successful YouTube channel. I am questioning if I want to go to that level or not. So I've just been like, that's why we're live here this morning. It's Sunday morning. If I don't show you this model, it's never going to get done. So let's go live. We can have an update. So when my attention comes back to RC models, I'll be able to give you an update. So apologies. I'm here looking, well, no apologies. I'm here looking at the iPad so we can see what's going on. So yes, sounds good. Thank you. Really do appreciate that. Now, those of you which are on the live chat, there is a live chat going on the right-hand side of your screen, which is a bit weird because it's the opposite side for me, and you can join in with the live chat. Now, if you're on a mobile device like an iPad, for example, the chat is hiding in the bottom right-hand corner. You need to click the little thing and it'll pop up. And of course, if you're watching the recorded version, there is an option on the right-hand side of your screen to replay the chat, so you'll see what's going on as well. So with that said, let's start with the weird one which turned up but actually gained my most interest and most enthusiasm over the last couple of days. And that was, and again, I don't know which model it was. What I'll do after we've gone live, I'll update the video description with the links to the different items. Now, one thing to make it absolutely clear, all of these have been bought out of my own money for my own abuses. Keep that in the back of your mind. None of these are freebies. I've got a couple of models on the way to me. No idea which one that one is. But the one which really has got my attention is this little one. Now, it was a bit of a wild card, and I know what you're going to be doing. You're going, Matt, well, that's not really for ragging nuts off at all. And it's a tiny little trainer. There's no ailerons in it, and it's just elevator and rudder. Now, the reason why this one perked me up, because I think it was $33, which I didn't find out later when I was editing the unboxing video. It's very simple, it's really light, and it's also going to be a great one for me to fly out the front of the house here. So I have been flying. I've just been doing 3D stuff on the front doorstep, if that makes sense. Now, something like this would be absolutely brilliant for me to get the kids involved. So that's what I've been doing. Sorry, that's why it's taken my attention. I think it was, yeah, $30 odd. It's a wicked little kit, and I can't wait to get it built. And that's the first one, which is, out of all the models which I've got here to do, that's actually the one which is going to get built first and flame first, because it's going to get my girls involved. So that's always a positive sign when a model turns up. Moving on to the next one, is the CK wing. Now this one has caused a little bit of you know what I mean, typical stuff for Matt, which is that the CK wing has been and turned up. Now I know that Sir Andrew Newton has been and received his, and he's also been and flown his. I know from your comments which have been posted in the Facebook group, because I posted a quick comment about this one, which was basically to avoid or wait for further judgment, because this one, it's got a completely flat bottom to it. Now Nick Robus from SAS also chimed in as well, with who makes the SAS, sorry, it's Sailplanes, if I get that right. Who makes was making the SAS items. His point, and also Andrew's point, which is that flat bottom models always give really high lift. Now, that's nice, but that's not really my cup of tea. So there's bound to be a conflict here going on of opinions. I'm sure Mr. Newton will love a very high lift wing. For me, and probably you as a nutragger, that may not be of interest to you, because if it's continuously obviously you want lift, but you don't want high lift in a model which is going to be sporty and aerobatic. That's my point. This model probably isn't going to be sporty and aerobatic, and as such, my personal opinion of it's not going to be as great as perhaps a sporty and aerobatic model would be, if that makes any sense. Right, so let me just hit refresh on there. By the way, if you have any questions or comments about these as they come in, please just ask in the live chat. So that's the CK wing. Do look out for a very differing opinion on this one compared to others. I will keep that in the back of my mind when we go to final review on it. But it's a flat bottom wing and not of a huge interest to me personally for that one. Right, moving on is that there was a couple of other models, and we will get to this one in a moment, and I've put my phone down somewhere, which is a bit annoying because I had more comments on it. I'm sure it'll pop out in a moment. There it is. There was a couple of other models which we need to... the Hobby King Brewster, still in kit form. I haven't got around to laminating the wings, in short. It's one of those really... And it's a really nice model, but Hobby King or Durafly fell short of putting some protective strip. They're like the one thing which Sonic Model or Zoe HD do relatively well, because they missed out on the Nano GT, is that they could have put some plastic along the leading edge of the wings themselves, and then protected the wing edge. Now that means I now need to laminate the model wing, and of course it's just got left there on the side, so we need to get that one out the door at some point. Moving on to the next one, the CK wing we spoke about, the small trainer which we sort of spoke about as well, that's gone through. The Firefly, that one is got the holes in it for the servos, but of course it needs to be glued together and get out the door as well. Looks like my internet's dropped down on there, so that's happy days. The 2-motor S-Box, yeah, that cargo plane which turned up here a while ago, not a fan of it, if I'm honest. Not a fan at all. It's just too ropey, and it's just got left on the side, and frankly honest, it's probably going to get left on the side, and I'll just give it to Austin or somebody so he can finish it off, because I've literally got no interest in it at all, because it was just such a bad kit. Moving on, Dart XL has found a new home. I'm actually going to give it to Craig, one of the guys which we fly with. Really not my cup of tea. I could moan and gripe about that model all day, about what it could have been, and I have absolutely no interest in trying to fix it. Instead, it needs to go to a home where it will be enjoyed, and because of the nature of the model, I'm sure Craig will absolutely love it, especially because it's free as well. And the other one was the Nano GT. Now, I'm sure that I haven't watched a single review of the Nano GT. I've already made my mind up on that one. It was just too many obvious issues with that one. I'm sure there'll be videos out on that one, as you know, already quite shortly, saying it'll be absolutely fantastic. We kind of know what's going on with those ones. Right, I kind of lost your comments. I will not kick him through. You'll have to quick look on there. No. Absolutely nailed it. It's decided not to work on Wi-Fi. So I'll tell you what, let's plow on. This one, no idea at all what's turned up in the box. It literally turned up yesterday, came home, and it was on the side, so but it's light enough to be a model airplane. It would be quite funny if it was something else. But it looks like it's been arrived here in one piece. Yes, it's a model airplane, because we've got some stickers on the bottom. So let's take a closer look. What on earth is in here? This is where I'd normally just turn it out upside down on the desk. But, oh, your comments have come in. Right, you stand there and have a look at the box and let me go and answer your comments. Apologies, my iPad's been lagging like a whatever. I am trying to keep the language clear here. I know. I try to do my best when it comes to language, but you've got to be fully aware that my day-to-day language includes a massive slurry of swear words. It's just the way which I am. And as long as it's used in, as I tell the children, and I have 2 girls which definitely bring quite a vocabulary of words in their vocabulary, funny enough, it's all to do with context. Context is absolutely everything, and we never use it in a derogatory fashion, okay? Right, get into your comments as well. So, good morning, everybody who's on here live. Contrails, I'm just looking at your chat on there as well. Can't tell you about the new hobby at the moment. I will mention the Mini Goose, which she is here. She's laminated. I even bought a new vector off Matt. Thank you, Matt, as well, to go in that model specifically. I think what was holding me back on that one? It was only minor stuff. Oh, I need to put a receiver in the wing, VTX in the other wing, and do the wiring loom to come in from either wing, and then put the vector in it. It's quite close, but in reality, it's been sat there for more than a month, so I will get to it eventually. Okay, no promises on timescales. I've seen people flying them, and they look absolutely fantastic. Oh, I've also seen people not flying them as well, trying to remain positive, and I'm really, really glad that I put the 4mm carbon rods in the tail of the model, and I also made a wooden inner bit to the front fuselage, so where the battery bay is, just to give it some extra strength as well. So, and that's from me seeing a few landed models which have been out there as well. Yes, crochet for it. Let's have a look again. I'm just scrolling down your chat. You can see the chat which has been going on there on the left hand side. Let's have a look. Flat bottom wings, they make flying world go round. Yeah, they're not very, they're not my cup of tea. Let's have a quick look. Oh, there's some feedback on the Nano Talon GT. 60 kilometer landings, and it's in one piece. Broken free props now. Good lad. That's really good to hear. You haven't managed to snap the nose off. And that is genuinely good to hear. Sidekick from New Zealand. Howdy fella as well. And good morning, Paul from Norway. Right, anyway, there's your comments. Glad the iPad started working again. I am going to pause for a sip of coffee. This one looks like a cheap and cheerful one which turned up. One thing which I have seen on Banggood lately, because I did a video about this saying about like 2019 is going to be the best year for RC models. It really is. I've got such a... What I've been chatting about for the last 10 minutes, I presume the last 10 minutes, is a massively good problem. Let's face this, okay? We live in a world where there are bad problems out there, okay? As RC modelists, not having new foam would be classed as a bad problem. It's not a good problem at all, is it? It's a bad problem. Right now, we have a good problem, which is that Matt has too much foam to get through and not enough hours in the day to get them finished. Let's look at this realistically. What a good problem to have. We've got the Nano Drac due this year. That thing flies like it's on absolute rails. You may have seen from the previous video. We've got the Brewster, which looks pretty damn good. We've got the CK Wing, which I'm sure somebody else will really enjoy. Definitely not for me. That little trainer, really looking forward to. We had the F3A as well, which was actually a last year's model, but kind of went underneath the radar for everybody else, and it's turned up here, and it's absolutely bloody brilliant. We had that twin cargo plane, which not very good at all. And we've got a whole raft of other models coming out as well. I've got a little Sky... Oh, I wonder if this is the Sky Surfer. There was a small little model which I saw on Banggood a short while ago, and it was called the Sky Surfer. and it looked pretty cool. Right, I still have absolutely no idea what this model of this one is. We've got it's got MG 800 on it, and some. I'm sure some people like the stickers. Really not my cup of tea, if I'm honest. Fantastic instructions. 100% Chinese, except for the numbers, which they're suggesting, I'm guessing, a 1400 2206 motor with an 8x6 or 7x3 propeller. No idea on CG. It could be 4. Don't you just love buying stuff from abroad? Let's take a look at it. It does look kind of cute. Oh, I do like the oh, it's a plug-and-play kit because I have... What the... Okay, it's a plug-and-play kit because we've got a motor in the front, one of the little blue ESCs in there, which we know is absolutely rubbish. We've got a motor mount... so, can you... I can see that clear as day. Can you see that clear as day? That bottom landing gear mount is on the piss. Have a look at it. It's on an angle, isn't it? When I put that landing gear in there, it's completely skew-if. It's like up like that on it. You'll notice that there's no top camera plugged in today. My hands are absolutely filthy, so we've not done that yet this morning. It looks like we're missing half the wing. Oh, that's going to be... Oh, that's not even funny. We've only been given... Oh, no, it's hiding. Thank goodness for that. I thought we only had half an elevator surface delivered here then. Oh, that would have been funny, wouldn't it? Like, where are you going to make that from? So far, I'm kind of liking this kit. I have no idea. Well, it's MG 800. That's all I know. So far, I'm kind of liking it is because it's small and dinky. It's come with the motor pre-installed and there's an ESC in there. One downside, it's got a Dean's connector, so we'll have to chop that off and put a proper one on. And it doesn't look too bad. Putting this together is going to be an absolute doddle. Just comes down to time, doesn't it? Right, let's move that out of the way and we'll take a look at what we got in the package. This isn't... I cannot remember buying this one at all. But then, like I said, we've had a really good year and I've bought a whole load of different models from a collection of different places. Mainly Banggood, if I'm honest, because I like... Well, I'm sure you like cheap as well. Let's not argue with cheap. And let's take a look to see what we got in here. Ooh, what do we have in here? We've got... They've done it in metric. An 8x6 propeller, 1400 kV. Pretty good for 3S, to be honest. We've got some landing gear. I didn't notice any metal work for the landing gear, although, let's be honest, it was a bit of a joke. Oh! There is no spar in the wing at all. So I'm not even going to bother trying to fly this without putting a spar in the wing, because one thing which Sir Andrew noted with another model, which was actually the cargo plane, is that because the wingtips were so flexible, it did try and tip stall itself. So I will be putting at least a 4mm carbon rod in here. Probably just one across here because I think that's all it needs just to stiffen it up, and there was no rods in there. And again, let's be fair here, I probably didn't pay very much for this kit. I'm going to guess if I paid, well, it's plug and play, so if I paid $50 for this kit, I'm not going to be too negative about the kit itself because it is come with it is a plug and play kit. I don't think I would have paid much more than that, if I'm honest. But I've chosen the plug and play kit just for time. So finding things like we need a spar in the wing is not ideal, but for the average, you know what I'm talking about. The average RC modeler watching this, we go, well, that's fine. I'll just get the knife out and carve one in there. And that's the kind of attitude sometimes which you need for models which you are buying for all intents and purposes blind. Okay, so I do kind of like that. I wonder how this rear section is going to fit in. No, it has a rudder, but no method of getting, there's no runner down there for it because the elevator surface itself is two pieces. You've got two rods coming down the back, so that we need those now for the elevator. But that said, you could turn this into a rudder model as well, but then we've got ailerons in the top, so it's not all bad. I have no idea how this top section is going to fit in or how well. Not too bad. So we are expecting to find some plastic pieces to go on there. It definitely needs those stickers to make it look pretty because it is quite a bare airframe which we've got here. So yeah, I reckon if I paid $50 for that, I wouldn't be too upset. I assume it's an 800mm wingspan. Foam, not the best EPO foam I've ever seen. To be brutally honest, it's not the best moulding I've ever seen. That said, I think it's going to fly alright. It looks like it's going to do fine. I don't think it's going to be a great big speed demon. I think I would have just bought it because, heck, let's buy it and see what it's like. We do have some bits and bobs in there. A whole little pack of wheels. A little piece of plywood, which must be for the back to hold the wings on itself. Elastic bands in there as well. So, yeah, it's kind of curious what's going to happen with the rest of that. So, yeah, first impressions. All I know, it's called the MiG 800. It would have cost me about $50-ish, but that is the plug-and-play kit. The landing gear is not in the box. The bottom mount for the landing gear is frankly a joke because it's on an angle. So that'll make landing really good fun. But am I disappointed that I spent, say, $50 for this? And no, not really. I quite like it. It's not the prettiest. It's not. Let's face it, right? It's not the prettiest model in the world, is it? But do we think it's going to fly alright? Yeah, probably. Is it pretending to be something which it's not? Not at all. I quite like its honesty. It's a really straightforward build, obviously done to a budget, and it shows in one or two places. But as a hobbyist, am I disappointed? No, not at all, because it's just being what it wants to be, what it is. It's not being hyped to be something which it's not, if that makes sense. Right, let's get into your comments as well. Let me just have a look on there. Let's have a quick look. Alistair, yes, that is the one which cutting out a hatch for the battery, which was in the big cargo C-160 plane. Not very, With the firework, I think you've hit the nail on the head of that one. It's not like other twin motor models which I've had here. There's always been like clear marks where the pod should go on. There's absolutely no marks on the fuselage itself. The plastic pods are just not very. They're very interesting mold wise for how they made them, but on a serious point, they are of not very good quality compared to other things which we can buy for a very, very similar amount of money. And again, one of the really nice things was that, to do a comparison, is that we had the F3A plane, which really good model, to the point it was more like Durafly standard model, where they put glue along the actual surfaces themselves, so the EPO foam didn't fatigue, or if it does fatigue, it will take absolutely ages for it to do that. And it was basically exactly the same price as the cargo plane. And we had one very, very well thought out model, came pre-stickered, and it was really just a case of just popping the servos in it and electronicals and going. Whereas the C-160, they didn't even have a battery bay in it. And these motor pods were just a complete joke. So it was literally just, you had a great kit and you had an absolute rubbish kit for not on exactly the same money. I know they're very different models, but that kind of shows the standards which are out there. There are some really good ones out there, and there are some really not very good ones out there. It's one of the nice things which I've enjoyed over the last 3 years or so now, is just being able to take a look at a kit, kind of work out really quickly whether it's going to be any good or not for me. Let's be fair, this one's probably one for the kids to fly around and trash. The CK Wing, definitely not for me. I'll try and remain as positive as I can about it, but it'll probably end up in Craig's arsenal because he likes the slower flying ones for FPV. He likes the extra lift which is in there. Just not my cup of tea at all. Don't get me wrong, I like flying slow. I have a Mini Talon, which is not particularly the fastest model in the sky, and I'm quite happy to sit back in a deck chair and watch, say, a Phoenix 2000 fly around the sky and absolutely enjoy it, because that's what those kind of models are designed for specifically, if that makes sense. But I definitely do prefer the faster ones. I'm just looking down there. Mini Drac was out with me last time when I went flying. Well, not here anyway. And the Stinger, I had that out 2 times ago. Absolutely brilliant. EDF jet, really enjoyed it. In fact, I probably should do some follow-ups on a couple of these models for the ones which have stayed here. And I'll let you make your own conclusions about the ones which are going out the door. When you get to a stage where you give away a model for free to someone else, you're either doing them a favour, which I'm really glad, for example, the Dart XL is finding a new home, but it does kind of make the point is that it's really not my cup of tea for one of a collection of different reasons. Anyway, I'm dragging myself off topic. Let's get back to your chat as well. I am going to be wrapping up in just a few moments' time. I do appreciate you joining me here live here this morning. It really was a case is that if I didn't go live this morning, then you wouldn't have an update about the CK Wing, that little training one. Really looking forward to that one. I think the kids are going to love it. You wouldn't have seen this one again. Bit of a lottery. I had no idea what was going to be in the box. So we found it. Quite surprised. To be honest, it doesn't look bad. I think it's quite honest what it's going to be, and it's just going to be one for the kids to fly. To be really honest, if I paid more than 50 quid for it, might be a little bit disappointed. Don't think I spent more than $60 for it, to be honest. Quickly going on there. It's the Mini Watt 4 that we've discussed on. Is it a Mini Watt 4? Yeah, it could be. Could be. Is it any good? Absolutely no idea. If it is a Mini Watt 4, then I'll probably end up with Rob, because he likes the Watt 4s. Or Richard. So, yeah. We get the kids to fly it if they like it. No landing gear. We'll see what happens. Happy days. Let's have a quick look. Slope combat, wing to death. Wing to death. Stubbsy, I don't think you'll be killing that CK wing anytime soon. There was me just a few minutes ago just saying, actually, I don't really like it. It's not my cup of tea. If you stuck it on the slope, and especially if you glued it up with, say, E6000 glue and stuck some laminate around it, I don't think there's any chance of you killing it. You've got remaining positive on it. It's a really nice cut model. It's just a shame they really didn't give any proper thought to... Is that finished moving? It's just a shame that they didn't give any proper thought to the actual wing section itself and getting some reflex into the wing, because there's sweet FA in that wing and it's the flattest bottom going on it. Does it make it more difficult to build? No, it actually makes it a million times easier to build because you can put it on a flat surface, blah, blah, blah. It's just not my cup of tea. Just not my cup of tea. I don't think you would kill it either. It's EPP. This thing, if you wrap that round, we'll take this Mini Watt 4 clone or whatever you want to call it. If we wrap this one around a tree, probably not happy days for it at all. If we wrap that EPP model around the tree, well, to be honest, you might have to go over and apologise to the tree. Because you know what EPP models are like, and that is the difference between the EPO foam, which is what we've got here, and the EPP foam, which we saw in the CK wing. So yeah, really, really good comment on there. Let's have a quick look. Your controls. I still owe you for the Micro Sky Hunter. She flies all right. I absolutely loved my original Micro Sky Hunter. I absolutely loved that model. I still remember the day when I wrote it off, which is that I came round, ducked it in between, one of the flying sites. We got 3 trees, which we call the 3 fat ladies. And we came through there, completely screwed it up, nearly went in one of the fat ladies, went over the top, and then landed it in a great big crop of corn, and then had to fish it out of the middle there. So I don't know if any of you have ever had to walk through a field of fully fledged corn. It's over your head, and that stuff is... Yeah, if you haven't got your sleeves down, it will quite happily cut your arms up as well. But yeah, Micro Sky Hunter, very, very cool model. The only thing which you can get wrong on that one is that you don't throw it hard enough when you go to launch, because it's a very, kind of like that is my kind of model. Very, very thin wing section, which then means that it needs to fly at a decent speed, and also pretty aerobatic. Not the most aerobatic in the model in the world, missing rudder, for example. But for such a cheap $30 thing, thumbs up every day of the week. And especially there was a time when you could buy it as the individual parts and make the kit yourself by buying the individual parts, which works out cheaper than actually buying the kit itself. Work that one out. So happy days. Right, on that note, it is time for me to wrap up. If you have any questions or comments about any of the models which you've seen here, the best place to ask those, you can either ask them in the comments section underneath this video on YouTube, or if you nip across to the Rag the Nuts Off Facebook group. I will update the video description after this video, with links to the ones which we've seen and this one as well, which, to be honest, doesn't look that bad. It's not pretending to be something which it's not, which is always thumbs up for me. So we'll find out what it flies like. Again, it looks like it's going to fly pretty well. I think there's going to be no big surprises on there. The only thing which I don't think I've worked out quite yet is that how we're going to attach the wing properly on the back. I'm sure that's only minor. Yeah, I don't think I would have paid more than $50 or $60 for it. So am I personally disappointed about this one? No, not at all. It's got a motor in it. It's got the servos in it. Should be a really straightforward build. The only thing which I feel perhaps is letting it down was there was no landing gear in the box, which I saw anyway. And the landing gear mount on the bottom's definitely on the piss. It's had one too many beers and is on a slight angle. Right. Time for me to go. Big thank you to you for taking the time to watch this episode. And I'm not going to say any more. Have a great weekend. For myself, Matt, cheerios!